Hi, everybody. It's Gene Simmons, and you're not, and you're listening to the Potter Than Hell podcast with Steve, BC, BB, and Dylan. But you knew that, didn't you?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Potter Than Hell podcast. This is your last stop on the crazy train of hard rock and heavy metal. So sit back, buckle in, and hang on. Here we go.
Hello, Potter Than Hellions. Welcome back to the Potter Than Hell podcast. This is Steve, your host, and with me this evening is
BC
and
BB.
And on keyboards again is me. Dylan will not be here tonight. He has something going on, so he won't be here. He's on assignment, if we could say that. And so here we are, us three once again. We're doing this quite often. Dylan's been vacationing quite a bit.
Yeah, that's all right. He's got a lot of time saved up here. He's got to start using his vacation.
He does. He's got to start using his PTO.
Yeah, if he doesn't use it, he's going to lose it.
That's
so
right.
He's got to take some time off here.
That's right. BC, how are you, buddy?
All right. Coming down because craziness for the last week is somewhat coming down.
Settling down a little bit. We had a nice engagement party for your stepdaughter the other day at BC's house. We had a good time there. Had a couple beers and celebrating the new couple to be, Nikki and Brandon. So congratulations, you guys, for sure. And BB, how are you?
Good. I think I'm still drunk from BC making me drink all night long the other night from the party. No, I tried to go home with you guys, like be a reasonable, responsible adult. BC wouldn't let me. He kept bringing me more beers and more shots, and before you know it, Carl was drunk, Damien was drunk, I was drunk.
Yeah, holy crap.
Damien was ripped up before I left.
There you go.
He kept going.
Because Corey goes, was Damien drunk? I'm like, yeah.
Carl.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He left it. I'm like, you all right? I think home.
Don't try this at home, folks.
Yeah. I was like, I'm probably the soberest guy there.
You probably were.
I was starting to get a little, so I'm like, I'm going. Because I was supposed to go golf with my dad, but then that got canceled because of the rain. But anyway, all right, here we are. And
Steve,
what?
How are you today?
Oh, I'm good, BB. Thanks for asking. I always like when you ask me.
Yeah, I care.
I'm good. I'm good.
Good.
I had a good work day today. Got out a little bit early, and I'm going to vacation tomorrow. So
nice.
We'll be out of town for a week, going to Virginia. So
very nice.
You guys will have the week off. That's why we're recording today, and today is September 30th, 2024. It's on a Monday. We usually record on Wednesdays now because we can actually schedule a day of the week. How about that shit? That's fucking crazy. For 7 years, we haven't been able to do that, but now we can do it. But since I'm going to be gone away, we're recording here tonight on a Monday. So before we get going, bad news. Doug Ulrich was diagnosed with cancer. He had to bow out of the current leg of the Dead Daisies tour. And BC, if you had to guess, who's filling in for him?
Carlos?
No.
Same band. Same band. Well, they're in the same band.
He's a great. Actually, he took his play. He was in another band with him.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah,
he was in another band with him.
John Blake's not.
All right, Reb Beach. So Reb Beach is filling in for Doug on this leg of the tour. But I guess he had. I guess it was throat cancer, and I guess he had a successful operation a couple days ago. So he's on the mend. So glad bad news, but good news that he is on the mend. And that'd be cool to see Reb Beach. And it's always cool to see Reb Beach because he's in a million bands and kicks ass in every fucking single one of them. I still think he fucking was awesome in Dockin'. That Live Under the Sun album, killer. I heard good news today too. It made me very happy. It made me very, very happy. In November, Slash and Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators are going to start recording a new album.
Ta-da!
So Slash did the blues thing, which was great. Don't get me wrong, it was great. Got it out of his system. Bringing Miles and the boys back.
That'll be
Todd,
Steve's album
Brent.
for 2025.
Yep. So I
Mark it down.
That's our. And they shit. And their last album was great. And they all had fucking COVID when they recorded that last album. So this one's gonna be great because these guys record together. It's not send in files and shit. They're like in recording, which is freaking fantastic. So that's some good news there. So before we get going, what do we listen to? BB, how about you? What do you got going?
I kind of went back. I was thinking about M3 the other day, and I'm like, you know what? Just for shits and giggles, I'm going to throw on the first 2 Kicks albums. The self-titled and Cool Kids from 81 and 83. It's just good stuff, good music, good fun listen, rocking out. And half of these songs that they did live, and you just remember all the shenanigans they were doing on there. So almost a little M3 reminiscing, since it's been so long since I heard Kicks.
Well, you're not getting, the only way you're going to hear them is listen to them like that anymore.
That's true.
How are you, BC? What do you got going?
Running around crazy, so it was a bunch of, I guess, miscellaneous lists. But I started throwing on some of these older albums, and oh man, kick ass, man! Can't beat it.
I'll just put down a mix for you.
A mix.
So, and for me, I started my Judas Priest narrowing pulse pressure discography listened to. So I got through. I did Invincible Shield, I did Rock'n'Rolla, then I did Firepower, and I'm like halfway through Sad Wings of Destiny now. So I'm getting them ones done. And I binged a little Motley Crue this weekend. The Asylum podcast, my buddies Gary, Marvin, Tim, and my partner Ray from Queens Wright podcast, they did a listening party of Theater of Pain. So it kind of put me in the mood for some Crue. So I did... actually, I stopped listening to the episode, and then I listened to all Theater of Pain, and then I listened to the episode. But I don't know why I did that, because they were listening to it as they're talking anyways. But, I wanted to hear it, So I checked that out. I did a little Girls after that, and I was halfway through Dr. Feelgood. So little Crue there, too. Yesterday was, I don't even know, whatever year anniversary of Iron Maiden somewhere in time, so I listened to that, threw that vinyl on there, rocked out to that. And I'll get into something else once we get going. But that's what we got going. I got some Priest, some Motley Crue, some Iron Maiden, good mix for BC. BB's doing some old school Kicks, self-titled and Cool Kids album. And last week's episode, we had our buddy Canada Rob Carhukangas on from Vancouver, Canada, our good friend from the Monsters of Rock Cruise. And... steadfast listener, we had him on the episode. We did 40 cassettes that were turning 40. It was a show that they had on Classic Rewind on Sirius XM on Labor Day weekend. So we talked about all those albums from cassettes from 1984, and I thought it was a great conversation. It was awesome having Rob on.
Always a great time having Rob on from up Northwest. But I don't realize how these albums, to me, you don't realize they're 40 years old. You're like, holy shit. It seems like yesterday they were out. And of course, even the ones that weren't in our wheelhouse, you still, you know them. Because they're just...
They were in, that was all the stuff you watched waiting to get to the stuff that we like.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got, BB?
Yeah, I love when Rob comes on. He always does his homework. He is like on the National Honor Society for homework for podcast. He comes on, he knows everything about everything we're talking about, always prepared. Love when he comes on. It's easy to talk to him because he does his homework, and I can really appreciate that compared to, some other people that come on that just kind of use their cliff notes or maybe no notes at all, But, always great, like BC said, always great to have Rob on, and good times talking to him. Can't wait to see him on the cruise.
Yep, and as you hear, the motorway outside is open in full force. It's a beautiful night out, so the quads and side-by-sides will be running rampant tonight. So, and it was great having Rob on. I was going through, and I wanted to get him on again before the year was over, and I thought this episode would be great for him. So I want to say, because that episode, I switched in for another one that didn't work out that we did. I think I told Rob about what we were doing before I told you guys. So, but he did his homework. He kicked ass, and always great having Rob on there. Can't wait to see him again, rock with him, have a couple beers with him on Monsters of Rock Cruise in next March, and it'll be good because BB will get to meet him.
That's right, exactly.
Yep. So Rob, once again, thanks for coming on. It was great. And so last week's episode segues into this one. So I was like on a definite 1984 kick, and there were, like BC had just said, there was ones that we talked about that were not in our wheelhouse, and I wanted to talk about 1984 albums that all of them were in our wheelhouse. There's a couple on here that were talked about on that episode, but only a couple. So I wanted to just pretty much go through. I picked 25 albums from 1984, and we're just gonna have a loose discussion about them. Just bring back some quick memories. Talk about maybe a couple tracks here and there, and we'll rank maybe our top 3 or bottom 3 at the end. So what I did was, what I want to do, guys, is I want to break it into. I'll just rattle off. I'm gonna go. I had these alphabetical, but I didn't want to do alphabetical, so I did a randomizer and I threw in there. So I'm gonna name out like 4 albums, and then we'll each just give our quick thoughts on the 4, and then we'll move on to the next 4. So the first 4 I got are Deep Purple, Perfect Strangers, Crocus, The Blitz, Autograph, Sign In Please, and Great White, Self-Titled. What do you got for us, BC?
All right, Deep Purple, Perfect Strangers. This is probably one of my favorite Deep Purple albums, and probably the first time I really heard of any Deep Purple, because back then I was 14. And again, it was somebody older. The older crowd always listened to, seemed like Deep Purple and Aerosmith and all these bands. Love that album. Crocus, The Blitz. The Headhunter was my first introduction to Crocus, so of course this was still good, but I thought it was more polished Crocus. Autograph, Sign In Please. We played the shit out of this cassette when it came out. I don't think there's a bad song on the album. Even the slow sounds good. I remember in my Chevy Nova, packed with 8 people that could only fit probably 4.
It's like a clown car.
Like a clown car. Everybody in there were blaring this album all the time. Great White. First Great White. This is after I was into Great White. I went all the way back, and I dig the simpleness, the rawness. Very not too polished. Stick it. I like that.
All right. What I got for them, Deep Purple, Perfect Strangers, great album. I remember Ed Jankowskis and Andy Leo got me into these guys, and like I said before, they were like a West Side band, and so like I kind of got them into like Van Halen and AC/DC, and they gave me like Deep Purple and Dio, and I remember putting that album on. I just love it. I listened to it, and what I meant to say was, once I introduced these, after I got home from BC's party Saturday night, and until like yesterday early evening, I literally listened on vinyl to all these albums with the exception of 1, 2, 3, with the exception of 3 albums. I listened to all these on vinyl. And I didn't listen to Leader Ford because I couldn't find my fucking record of it, so I don't know what happened to that. I couldn't find it. But like the Deep Purple one, I put that on. Just fantastic. Just for them to have this be their, I think it's the Mark III of Deep Purple, their comeback album. Absolutely friggin' fantastic album. And Crocus, The Blitz, I got to see these guys on this tour down at the West Side Theater. It was with Accept and Rough Cut. Great show. And it is a little more polished, BC, than what you're used to. One Vice at a Time and Hardware. But still, I thought it was really good. A lot of good stuff. Some great deep tracks on there. Out of Control was great. Out to Lunch I thought was cool. Rock the Nation, Ready to Rock was very cool. So great album. It was cool delving back into that one. And like you said, BC, Autograph, Sign In Please. I think out of all, if you want to, put the quotations around hair metal, I want to say the Autograph has one of the best 3 album runs out of any of the bands that were, lumped into this category. And first album, Sign In Please, Send Her to Me, Turn Up the Radio. Turn Up the Radio is a probably top 5, top 10 song of all time for me. Absolutely fucking love it. But like the deep tracks, like Thrill of Love, Friday Night, Deep End is friggin' fantastic. Cloud 10, just a great album. If you are, someone looking for something different and you haven't heard it in a while, you will have to either listen to it on YouTube or get a copy for yourself, because none of the classic Autograph stuff is on streaming. And the first Great White album, self-titled, I had this when it came out because I thought the cover was cool. I had it on cassette, and it was weird for me when these guys came out like later. Like they went like blues rock. This is pretty much straightforward hard rock, and just the production's not great on the album, but it's pretty raw. But it's good though. Stick gets on really good on there. I didn't care for them doing the cover of Substitute, but like songs like On Your Knees, Street Killer, Nightmares, just a really good, solid, debut album from these guys. And Jack Russell, sounds great on it, and it's a good, solid album. What do you got for them, BB?
Yeah, 1984. This is kind of where my music kind of catalog kind of expanded. This is a great year for me because this is where I really started listening to a lot more. Where my foundation is in a lot of these bands. A lot of these I didn't have on cassette.
Right.
But years down the road, working myself backwards, I do have a lot of these on either CD or vinyl. But Perfect Strangers from Deep Purple, a great album. Knocking on Your Back Door, great one. Perfect Strangers. Every time I hear that, just like last episode, I just think of that Harpo Music local band that used to do that song. Absolutely love that song. A great, cool, fast gallop of a Gypsy's Kiss. Another good one on that one is Wasted Sunset. Has a nice little piano guitar part in there. And what always got me with albums, even today, ending the album with an instrumental, it just, I don't know why. I don't know. Over the years, it really just bugs me. And, I almost rather it, I guess, now that I say it out loud, it's probably better. It should be at the end because then you can just stop it at the last song. But it just, I don't know. I don't know if it's it's a filler for side A to side B, but yeah, Deep Purple, great album. Crocus, The Blitz, another one I remember my buddy had this, and it's all because of the Ballroom Blitz song that was all over the place. I love Midnight Manic. I love the opening track of that one. The cool drum beat of Out of Control. Our Love is one of my favorite Crocus songs. And then, like I said, the Ballroom Blitz was pretty much the big hitter on that one. Autograph, Sign In Please. Great album. Front to back. No skippers for me. My buddy's brother had this one too on cassette. I burned myself a copy. Send Her to Me, Turn Up the Radio, 19 and Nonstop. Those first three opening songs, just a killer way to open up your album. Then, of course, the deeper cut of Deep End and My Girlfriend's Boyfriend Isn't Me. Just a great front-heavy part of the album. And even the closer, the All I'm Gonna Take, it has some very cool band harmonies at the chorus, which is super surprising how good that song was, because it's been a while since I've heard this, because of course good albums like this are not on streaming. You have to go on YouTube to kind of stream it. And then Great White, self-titled. I forgot how good this album was. Working myself back from the later 80s Great White. Boy, when I heard this week, holy cow, this is like young, raw, hungry Great White. It is just like a punch in the face. Every song was great. Bad Boys, there's some amazing guitar work in there. On Your Knees, of course, a fan favorite. Street Killer, a deep track I absolutely love. Nightmares has this crazy killer solos in it. It's just funny when you hear this self-titled, first album. Well, this is actually their second album. Just how they kind of made that right turn and just did something totally different. And it, pretty much worked for them.
Yeah. Let me just go back real quick to the Deep Purple album. You said you didn't like the instrumental at the end, but the reason that's on there, when they first all got together, that was the very first thing they played.
Oh,
They
okay.
were just kind of playing and see what came out. So that's why that's on there.
All right. Well, then all right.
That's why
I
that's
like
on
a little
there.
story
Yeah.
behind it then.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So.
Well, that's tight.
Yeah.
But it was. I get it though. But that was something special that they just put on the end there. So next four. I'll go first here. We got Y&T and Rock We Trust, Kiss, Animalize, Judas Priest, Defenders of the Faith, and Lita Ford, Dancing on the Edge. Y&T, In Rock We Trust. You know, I listened to this album yesterday. There's stuff that I like on it, but I thought there was a lot of weak stuff on it too. Like Rock and Roll's Gonna Save the World. It's not a great opening song. It's a really good song. And then Life isn't a rocker either. So like you have the first two tracks that aren't rockers, but then you go into Masters and Slaves, I Keep on Believing, Break Out Tonight, Lipstick and Leather, Don't Stop Running. You're on a great run there, but why like take those two songs and throw them in the middle of the album somewhere? And even like Your Love Is Driving Me Crazy, I don't know. I never really kind of liked that one. Really? But decent album. I thought of the sequence of the album was not great. And then Kiss Animalize. I always like this album. You know, it gets shit. There's a couple, you know, like Murder in High Heels people shit on. While the City Sleeps people shit on. Lonely is the Hunter. Of course, the Gene songs they shit on. But, you know, I Lonely is the Hunter is probably the only one I don't like of those three, but like tunes like I've Had Enough, Into the Fire, Heaven's on Fire, that was the song that like totally kicked ass for this album for those guys. Burn Bitch Burn, I don't give a shit what anybody says. Take your log in your fireplace and shove it up your ass because that's a fucking great song. Get All You Could Take is great. Under the Gun, Thrills in the Night, great. I like the album. I love I love the original production on this because once it was remastered, I thought it neutered the Eric's drums a little bit because there's parts that I listen for now, like the we'll hit the highway doing 69, dun, like that. It's not as pronounced as it used to be on the album, and I always look for that part. I love that part, and it's kind of neutered on there. And then Judas Priest, Defenders of the Faith, great album, fun album, but it kind of duds out a little bit at the end for me with Heavy Duty and Defenders of the Faith at the end. But the rest of the album itself, Free Will, Burning, Jawbreaker, Sentinel, one of my top 5 pre-songs. I was listening to, I think it's the Two Bobs cast. They go over bands' discographies, and the one dude, he hated Love Bites. I'm like, dude, that song's fucking awesome. I was like, what the fuck? So, and it's been a while since I yelled at a podcast, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? So kind of, but I mean, to each his own, but I'm like, how can you not love Bites? It's fucking awesome. And then Lita Ford, Dancing on the Edge, and this is the one I went nuts. I looked through fucking everything yesterday, and I know I have it. It's in my Discogs. I could not fucking find that album for the life of me, but fun album. I remember when that came out, seeing the Gotta Let Go video, Lita tearing it up on there. She had the Widowmaker guitar, or black fingernail polish on it, fucking tearing it up. Dancing on the Edge, great song. Lady Killer, even like Run with the Money, and it's $sign at the end. Ooh, that's but a great album, very solid. I think it's a huge step up from her first album, Out for Blood, but a fun album, great listen, and and any of these, and the thing is about all this list, any of these bands that are still playing or have recently been done playing are still playing songs from these fucking albums. What do you got, BB?
All right. Y&T in Rock We Trust. One of this, I may be like you. I expected a little bit more out of this one because it's just not one of the Y&T albums I go to. I have it on vinyl, but I don't know. Maybe I expected a little bit more. But the opening track, "Rock and Roll is Gonna Save the World." It's a great song. The band vocals in that are just so good. Life. There's like a cool, almost like a robotic guitar scratch at a certain part of the solo, which made my ears perked. I'll keep on believing. There's some cool keyboards in that one. Another standout, and of course the big one, "Don't Stop Running," a great song. And She's a Liar. I think that was my favorite one on the other. The drums on that are just absolutely fucking killer. Kiss, Animalize. One of this, I remember purchasing this cassette over at Ames. We Had Enough in the Fire, great way to start the album. Mark St. John tearing it up. Heaven's on Fire, the big one that some people get a little, they get the tire factor out of it. I still kind of like it. I'm not there yet. It's only about 65%, but I love that song. Burn Bitch Burn, another standout for me. But the two, Under the Gun and Thrill in the Night, it just brings back some great memories. Absolutely love those two songs. And Murder in High Heels, I think you said this one that it gets some shit, but it fits Kiss's persona and what they were doing and what Gene was doing back in the day. It totally fits the album. Judas Priest, Defenders of the Faith, big album. For one of my friends across the street, he was a big, humongous Judas Priest fan. I can remember Free Will Burning, the video playing Pole Position at the arcade. It just brings back some great memories of watching videos back then. Jawbreaker, there's that dual guitar solo in there, just is so good. The Sentinel, Love Bites, a great 1-2 punch right in the middle of the album. And of course the big one on that one, Some Heads Are Gonna Roll. Great song, one of their staples. And then Lita Ford, Dancing on the Edge. This one, I don't know. I don't know if I liked it or another one more like a Y&T thing. I expected a little bit too much of it. I'm a big Lita fan, and this is one I'm not really too familiar with. But of course, Gotta Let Go and Dancing on the Edge are two of her big hits. And then it kind of loses me a little bit in the middle there, but another one that stood out for me was Fire in My Heart. I thought was really, really good. But I expected a little bit more out of Lita.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What do you got, BC?
Y&T with this is my first Y&T I ever got. I pretty much Rock and Roll's not the greatest one to start off with, but a good song overall.
Good song, but I didn't think it was a good opener.
Master of Slaves is great. Keep on Believing. Lipstick and Leather. I love Driving Me Crazy. Your love is driving me. That bass line, just love it. She's alive. Even this time is a slow tune, but the guitar is ripping up at it. So you gotta give it up for Y&T. Kiss, Animalize. First time I saw Kiss was on this tour. Down in Bethlehem. Again, this was, of course, I thought it was an exciting time for Kiss. After the makeup years, of course, that was the iconic Kiss, I guess you would say. Then they're trying to just be a regular band Kiss. And I like these albums. This is great. I Had Enough Into Fire. Just rips it up. Burn, Bitch, Burn. Under the Gun, Thrills in the Night. Why the City Sleeps. I love all these tunes. Great Kiss album. Woo, little Judas Priest, Defenders. This is probably some of the first Judas Priest I heard back in the day. Some Heads Are Gonna Roll. Always heard that. I really love Bites. The Sentinel, which is now just one of my all-time favorites Priest songs. Free Will Burning. Gotta love it. Heavy Duty. May have been the weaker the songs on them for me. And of course, Lita Ford. Dancing on the Edge. But this came out. I was like, Rainy Castillo and drums. Her band was fucking on target now. Gotta Let Go, Dance on It. I don't think there's a bad tune on this album. Maybe Run with the Money. I love that. You gotta have that. And then Still Wait. I think it's in Still Waiting. That effect on the guitar.
Yeah.
I love that. Love that. And then Lita Ford. It was easy. Love to listen to. Love to look at. So you had two pluses.
That's true.
2 pluses make a winner. But no, classic 4 albums.
All right, next 4 we got going are, I know a favorite of BB's, Van Halen 1984, Dio, Last in Line, Iron Maiden, Power Slave, and Armored Saint, March of the Saints. What do you got, BB? I can let you go first.
Right.
I know you like this. I know you like
this. This is a good little bunch.
I know you like this block here.
Yeah, Van Halen 1984. This album will always... There will never be an album that takes over the number 1 position in my discography or whatever you want to call it. This has a lot to do with where my foundation of music is, because 1984, I'm still only 11 because this song came out like in January, or the album came out in January of 84. So I'm still only 11. I don't know. It was that guitar and keyboard. Still to this day, I still love it. And I had to go get that album. But, probably the deeper tracks, I'm more of a fan of these days. Especially Girl Gone Bad and House of Pain are just 2 amazing songs just to close out that album. And then another one, the same exact reason for this is probably top 3. Dio Last in Line. The first time I heard this album, it was mind blowing. This was after I heard Van Halen, so this is probably like the summer of '84. My buddy had it. His brother had it on a vinyl actually, and just from every track on here is no skippers for me. Absolutely great album front to back. Dio, Iron Maiden, Power Slave, and this is one of the bands I always had to go back to. I was very late into Iron Maiden, but Power Slave is a great album. Of course, when it opens up with Aces High, it's then you got 2 Minutes to Midnight, the great 1-2 punch of the opening tracks, and you got Power Slave and Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner to close the album. Just a really, really good Iron Maiden album. Then Armored Saint, March of the Saint. This was an album. This is probably the latest album / band I got into on this list. This was an album you guys actually brought to one of the Kiss Expos. It was a CD that, I don't know, one of you guys had, and we listened to it on the ride to Jersey going to the Kiss Expo. But man, the first 3 opening tracks of this album, March of the Saint, Can You Deliver, Madhouse, they're still doing live today. So that, that's just props of how good the opening tracks of this album are. Take a Turn it starts a little bit slower in parts, but I absolutely love that one. And Stricken by Faith, just a very underrated song for those guys. I would love to see them do that live, but yeah, very good block of 4.
BC, what do you got for these?
Alrighty. Yeah, Van Halen 1984. I mean, that was the big thing when they came out with this, and everybody's kind of like, my crowd was kind of like, keyboards, Van Halen, what the fuck, you know what I mean? Because it was, you read stuff in magazines back in those days. But when you first put it on, you're a little, okay.
I'm afraid to like this.
But when Jump comes on, it's like Panama, Drop Dead Legs. I mean, you're like, okay, it's still Van Halen, baby. Girl Gone Bad, House of Pain. This is like great album for me, at least. Dio, The Last in Line. We Rock. I mean, this came out as like, and Dio was. To me, an overabundance of so much music back then. You're like, and you couldn't get it all at one time. And that was the most frustrating thing. There's no internet, there's no nothing, so you worked your ass off to get money so you could buy all these albums. I mean, Last Line, to me, is an iconic song. Eat Your Heart Out, One Night in the City. Iron Maiden, Power Slave. Again, I got this maybe a while after it came out, just because of just limitation of funds to get all these albums. But I go back to this album religiously. I mean, it's a strong opening and strong closing album out of Iron Maiden. And the Great Armored Saint, March of the Saint. I remember hearing about read about these guys somewhere, and they always had the full page ad for these guys. I don't know. It was always not a quarter page, not a half page.
Metal Blade did them right.
Metal Blade did them right in that aspect. Yeah, I remember always seeing the album cover in this full page black. Check them out on tour, blah blah blah. So you had to get this one. March of the Saint, Can You Deliver, Madhouse. I mean, Seducer, False Alarm. This is just John. And to me, John Bush is just still to this day has the pipes, and he's one of those vocalists that as soon as you hear the pipes, you're like, John Bush. I mean, this is strong 4 albums.
All right, yeah, 1984. I remember picking this up. I got it. I'm not going to say the day it came out, but pretty much the week or the second week that it came out. I want to say Jump was maybe on the radio before that, and people were losing their shit about, because this genre of music at that time, like keyboards was like for like pop bands, for like Duran Duran and flock of seagulls and shit. I don't even know if they were out then, but like that's kind of the gist of it. And people were losing their shit.
Oh, it's my shit.
Myself included. But like BC said, when I heard it, I'm like, how could you not like this? It's fucking fantastic. Still great, fun album. And I go along with BB. I think the deep tracks on this album are absolutely fantastic. And I think the total best, one of the best Van Halen deep tracks, period, is Top Jimmy. That song is fucking fantastic. That one, and why on God's green earth, why was All Wait never put out as a fucking single? They could have did a killer video for that. They could have even did like a concert clip one or something like that. But how was this song not released as a single? People complain about, well, why was A Million to One never released as a single from Kiss? Why the fuck was I'll Wait never released as a single in a video from 1984? Great album. Shit, I think I sent a picture to you guys the other day. Girl Gone Bad was on XM. I was like, holy shit, like fucking great. That House of Pain, great. And of course, you know, Hot for Teacher and Panama. I mean, you can, those kind of go without saying, but just absolutely fantastic. Dio, Last in Line. I got to see Dio on this tour. Myself and Rob went with Mike Galati and another guy, Chuck Heinowski, I think the guy's name was, and he drove about 8,000 fucking miles an hour down there. But in the video that's out there, Special at the Spectrum, that's the show we were at, and it was great. It was just fucking fantastic. The album is fantastic. Actually, Brad Rustovan just did a kind of a mini album battle between Last in Line and Holy Diver on Slamfest. I won't say how it came out. Go listen to it. Really cool. Like We Rock, Last in Line, Breathless. This is another album. The deep tracks, the ones you don't hear all the time, are great. Breathless, One Night in the City is fantastic. Just a great album. I've always enjoyed that one. It hits my turntable several times a year. Iron Maiden, Power Slave. And this was at the time when I was from when Peace of Mind came out, I was getting every Iron Maiden album like the week it came out, from then till probably now. And I remember when this came out, I was like, oh my God, look at this cover. Like, you're like, because I was always fascinated with like ancient Egypt and the pharaohs and all that shit. And I'm like, look at this album cover, and you're looking at it and you see the slaves or whatever carrying the sarcophagus up to the pyramid and stuff, and Eddie's at the big top of the pyramid. It's like, holy shit, like, look at this. Then you drop the needle and you got friggin' Aces High. Just, you're like, what am I listening to? Like, and by now, after having Number of the Beast and Peace of Mind, your expectations are, towering by the time this comes out. And this album did not let you down. Drop the Needle, Aces High, 2 Minutes to Midnight, fantastic. Lost for Words, Big Aura. I'm like, okay. I think that this is their last instrumental that they did, and which I'm glad, because God, you got Bruce and Adrian and Steve Harris writing songs. You can't fucking do lyrics for a song. Record something else. And the thing about this, it gets a little too sword fighty for me on this. You got the Duelist and Flash of the Blade, like back to back. They're both good songs, don't get me wrong, but this gets a little much for me. And Back in the Village is really cool. Power Slave, Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. And I remember when this came out, it was like, wow, this song's like fucking 13 minutes long. But I mean, I wasn't used to bands like Yes and progressive rock bands that were this was like in, like a low timed song for some of these bands. But like for a metal band, like a mainstream metal band, like a 13-minute song was like pretty much unheard of. And it didn't disappoint. I still think the creaky in the ocean part in the middle is still fucking cool. I still, this hits my turntable several times a year. And then Armored Saint, March of the Saint. This was an album that I bought purely because I thought the fucking cover was cool looking. I won't lie, I won't deny it. I'm like, holy shit, this is gonna be good. And it didn't let me down. I was like, holy shit. And when I listened to that album, I'm like, this album sounds like what the cover looks like. Like, I can picture these guys wearing this shit, playing this shit. And then when you got to see pictures of them, like John Bush, they were kind of dressed like that. I can't deny the music on it. I love it. I think it's great. March of the Saint, Can You Deliver? Can You Deliver? I think I've told the story before. I had a mixed CD in my vehicle when I was taking my wife to the hospital when Dylan was getting ready to be born. She was in labor in my vehicle going to the hospital. Can You Deliver came on the fucking mixed CD. I'm like, here we go. So I always remember that when I talk about it, when I hear that song. Madhouse, Take a Turn, Mutiny of the World, Glory Hunter, Stricken by Fate, False Alarm is great. BC said too, John Bush, I think his voice is fucking fantastic. Great front man. And glad I got a picture taken with them on Masters Rock Cruise last time. Got one for BC too. So just for friggin', this was a good block. I thought this was a really good block of albums here. So we're going to do a quick gem song. Then we're going to do hidden gems tonight because Dylan's not here to tell us no tonight. So we're going to do that. So BC's going to intro the gem song. What do you got, BC?
All right, these guys don't let me do this too often because they know what I'm going to fucking play. So we're sticking with 1984. We're going to go back to Lizzie Borden's EP, I would say, with the title, not the title track. Kind of, but anyways, Give Him the Axe is standout, iconic track for him, I guess you would say. A go-to for him.
Play it, Dylan.
Play it.
All right, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed a little Lizzie Borden, compliments of BC there, a little Give 'em the Axe. And we'll do a little hidden gem here now. And what do you got, BB?
All right, I'll stick it around to 1984, but I'm gonna go with the self-titled album from Jafria. I'm gonna go with "Turn Me On," song number 7. It is the heaviest song on the album. It's a really, really good song. When I heard it today, I'm like, I wanted to pick a 1984 song. Oh yeah, I'll look, and I started going through this album. I'm like, nah. But boy, when this came out, I'm like, whoa. I'm like, that's heavy. So
And it costs
definitely check it out. It's a good one. That's why I put on the list. I'm like, wow, that's heavy for them.
What do you got, BC?
I think this morning I was outside, guess with the mix pod going, right? Did I say it right?
The pod.
iPod.
Let
Had that going.
me ask you a question. Do you just leave that play continuously in your garage?
Just let it go.
Okay, because it was playing the other night when we were down there for the party. Okay,
Just,
I thought so.
He's afraid to turn it off because it may not turn back on.
There is that.
no, it just has to be constantly on the charger. You take it off, it dead.
Gotcha.
But I'm just going around and I'm like, you know how something stops you. I'm like, it sounds, the voice, I know who it is, but the rest of it is missing or something's different. But I go over and of course I'm like, that's who it is. Every familiar Buck Cherry, Josh Todd, when he came out with the solo album, not exactly sure in the year. The album was called "You Made Me." It's just Buck Cherry on steroids, like heavy.
Wow. Yeah.
It's just fucking. There's a song on there, blast, blast. It's very heavy.
Really? I never heard of it.
I mean, Buck Cherry has a good. Not that they're not heavy or anything.
Right.
This is just a very like.
Really? I'll have to see if it's. I'll have to see if I can
Check it out,
I can
people.
check that out.
Josh Todd.
All right.
Josh Todd.
All right, and for me, I figured I would stick with 1984 also, and I went to another favorite of mine, Saxon. They came out with the Crusader album in 1984, and this is, I don't know, like fourth or fifth track on the album, I think, and it's Sailing to America. Great song. I would love to see them bust this out live, and I listened to it today with the headphones on, and I love the friggin' drum production on that album. So crisp and friggin' fantastic. So that's what we got for our hidden gems. I have Sailing to America from Saxon from the Crusader album 1984. BC has Josh Todd's solo album, You Made Me. And BB's got the heaviest track from Jafria, Turn Me On, from their self-titled album from 1984. So let's get back into our albums here. So the next batch is going to be Rush, Grace Under Pressure, Sammy Hagar, VOA, Triumph, Thunder 7, and Kick-Axe Vices. I'm going to go first on this. No, I'm not. BB's going to go first on this one.
All right.
No.
All right, Rush, Grace Under Fire. All right, it's Rush. I listened to it. The only song I knew from this album was the opening track, Distant Early Warning. You know, as we've talked about, I'm not the biggest Rush fan out there. Their stuff is good. It just all sounds the same to me. And it's funny, I know the hits, I just don't know the names of all these hits.
That's why I picked you first.
Yeah, but I did know the opening track, so it was all right. Sammy Hagar, VOA. I remember I had this one, and of course it's all because of I Can't Drive 55, the opening track. That song was all over the radio, the MTV. But there are some good stuff on there. Rock Is in My Blood, that's a killer deep track for me. I absolutely love that one. And then you got, of course, the Two Sides of Love. You know, if you're a fan of Sammy, you know that one. Dick in the Dirt's another great one. VOA, the self-titled, the title track of that one. Great album. Really turned me on to Sammy back then. And still a big fan today. Triumph, Thunder 7. It was very disappointing. I love Triumph, and this front half of the album I really enjoy, and then it kind of loses me on the back half. Stand out for me on the front is Follow Your Heart, and of course that's the big one on there. Another good one on side 2 was Killing Time, but it's buried in between an instrumental, Midsummer's Daydream. Time Canyon sounds like a church hymn to me, which I don't know why Triumph is trying to do something like that. And then you got like Stranger in a Strange Land. That's like a bluesy feel to me on that one. and then it closes with another instrumental. So it definitely lost me the second half of that album, and very, very disappointed with Triumph and what they put out at that time. And then Kick-Ass Vices. This is top 10 album for me. Love this album. The only thing that sucks on this album is just the production of it. It's just so, it shows its years. It shows it's 1984. It's never been touched, and it's never been remastered. And you listen to it compared to a lot of these other albums, and you can tell in your headphones it's missing something. Heavy Metal Shuffle, Vices, a great 1-2 punch. Absolutely love Man Eater. On the Road, The Rock, Cause for Alarm. Just great standouts. The band harmonies and all the right moves is another highlight on this album. Absolutely love Vices.
All right. For me, Rush, Grace Under Pressure. This was another one of the records that I spun yesterday. Always loved Distant Early Warning. I forgot how much this fucking album is great. There is not a skip around this album for me. I think it's fantastic. Deep tracks like Between the Wheels, they've been known to do that live, which is very good live. Kid Gloves, Body Electric, Red Sector A, After Image, the second track on the album is fantastic. Grace Under Pressure, I think, is fucking fantastic. And no BB, they don't all sound the same.
I was going to say, that's why you like it so much. It's like one continuous song.
It's not. Stop it. Sammy Hagar, VOA. When this came out, I really liked this one. Of course, it was, pun intended, driven by I Can't Drive 55. That song was played everywhere you went. But the rest of the album is great. Swept Away, Rock Is in My Blood, Two Sides of Love is great. Dick in the Dirt is always funny when I listen to it. VOA, I thought the friggin' great. I think it's a great album. Triumph, Thunder 7, BB. I don't know what the fuck you're listening to over there down the street. So we may have to reopen the rehab over there to reinsert you over there. And I hadn't listened to this album in years. I have not listened to this album in probably at least 5 years.
You didn't listen to this album Sunday, did you?
No.
It wasn't a hangover album for you.
Oh, no,
okay.
no.
All right.
Just checking.
All right. Maybe you should have.
Are we still on Rush?
No. Oh, stop. Another Canadian band. Another Canadian trio.
Sorry, Rob. I'm sorry.
Another Canadian trio, actually. So, and actually, 3 out of the 4 bands in this group are Canadian, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spellbound is great. Rock on Roll Out. You don't like that acoustic instrumental on there? Midsummer's Daydream?
I guess I have to
It's
be
fucking great.
I have to be in a mood to like an instrumental song. Like if I start off, it's almost like drinking. If you start with the same beer, you can drink a whole shitload. But if you start mixing them up, like you start losing it. I hate when bands just throw fucking instrumentals in the middle of fucking shit, and it just doesn't.
Well, Triumph does that on all their albums.
Yeah,
they do it on all their albums. But when I saw them in '86 and they played in Binghamton, he was playing this, and someone whipped a bottle and hit his guitar when he was playing it. He lost his shit.
It wasn't me.
Are you sure?
Wasn't me.
He fucking flipped the fuck out. I was like, holy fuck, someone's gonna get fucking killed here. I remember that. But I really like that album. I have not listened to that album in years other than yesterday. Kick-Ass Vices. When this came out, we listened to this fucking constantly. We must have listened to this. We would be, I don't know, driving around or whatever, or just hanging out and shit. We would play this over and over and over again. So I know this album inside and out. Absolutely still love it. It's fucking fantastic. What do you got, BC?
Alrighty, Rush. I mean, Grace Under Pressure. Not as good as Power Windows, but let's go with it.
What is, BC?
What is? Like I said, back in the day, I always heard the name Rush, but never really got into Rush until later in my life. But going back to this album, District Early Warning, Red Sector A, Between the Wheels is a good one. Overall, every time I listen to Rush, I always say I'm going to listen to more Rush. and then...
And you don't. I don't blame you, BC.
Something pops up here.
And then he plugs in his iPod.
And I plug in my iPod and Rush is gone because I don't think Rush is on the iPod.
I don't blame you.
Alrighty. But hey, come
BB
on.
was never heard again on the
That's
podcast.
right.
But it's
That's
Rush. Sammy Hagar, VOA. I mean, this came out. I fucking love this album. This got played to death too. Kind of like Steve was talking about Kick Axe. Can't Drive 55, Swept Away. I mean, Rock Rose in My Blood, Two Sides of Love. She likes Dick in the Dirt. VOA, just love that. VOA. I mean, there's another 80s classic album for me. Triumph, Spellbound, Rock and Roll, Cool Down. I mean, Follow Your Heart. I guess that was the song you heard back all the time back then. That was, I mean, in my head forever. Another great band that, and it doesn't get the recognition I thought, even back in the heyday, so to say. They were always there. Every now and then you heard them, but they never got the recognition they should have. And I'm looking for number 4. Oh my God, the Canadian boys of Kick Axe and Vices. I'm going to echo what Steve said. I mean, this came out, played the fuck out of it. This is just. My poor mother, she must know every lyric of this album. I
can ask her next time.
You ask her, she'll go, oh yeah, Kick Axe, dreaming about you, man eater. Heavy metal shovel. I mean, there's not a skipper on that album. That's a desert island album. You had to pick 5 albums. That's going to be in the 5 albums I'm taking with me. Because, iconic.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go first for this next group, and I have 2 reasons why. Okay, next group is going to be Queensryche The Morning, Metallica Ride the Lightning, Wasp, Self-Titled, and Scorpions Love at First Thing. I have to do Queensryche first. They're my boys. The Morning, I remember when this came out, I had the EP, played the shit out of that. I could not wait for this album to come out. I was not disappointed, and it was weird to find out years later that the album sequence was not the sequence that the band wanted, that the record company or the production crew changed the sequence of the album while they were out on tour, and they changed the mix of it, and they were fucking pissed when they came back and listened to it because they really felt that this was not the album that they recorded. It wasn't what it was meant to sound like, and I would absolutely love to hear what they meant it to sound like. Yeah. And if you look out there or go back and listen to the I Remember Now podcast, we did this album, and we talk about what the sequence of the album was supposed to be, and I did a playlist of it, and it works. It really works. But I could see the record company's point also, because the band wanted NM156 to start the album out. And I could see why that the record companies didn't want that. But when you listen to the album sequence that they wanted, it makes the album circular. Like it kind of goes off at the end, and then like if you listen to it on repeat, it comes right back in. It's almost like a circular thing. But tracks on there, Enforce, they still play to this day. Deliverance, Take Hold of the Flame. I'm going to take the liberty of saying that's probably BC's favorite Queensryche song. He goes nuts every time they play it. He beats the fuck out of me every time they play it. I absolutely love Child of Fire, one of my favorite Queensryche songs. Fucking fantastic. Metallica, Ride the Lightning. And this is, and it's great because I talked about this album when Tom and I did the album duo. We did, of course, Kill 'Em All first, then we did Metallica, Ride the Lightning. I love bands like that, especially like Metallica. You could see how they progress with each album. Like James is a kid singing on Kill 'Em All, and then it's a little more mature, and the songwriting's a little more mature as you go along. Fight Fire with Fire is fantastic. Ride the title track, For Whom the Bell Tolls, another Harpo tune, you guys, we fucking rock to all the time. Fade to Black with that slow part, then it just kicks it and kills at the end. And one of my favorite, probably top 3, top 5 Metallica songs, Creeping Death on here. Just fucking absolutely killer. And Wasp, self-titled. Now, I want to start by saying Tom and Zeus and Tony Masalem did this on Album Review Crew last week, and it came out. And for some reason, Zeus was, I can picture Steve Wright listening to this. You bet your fucking ass you can. Because it's fucking awesome. But let me tell you why. And let me tell you why these guys shit on it. Tom and Tony liked a good portion of it. Zeus pretty much shit on the whole album. But let me tell you why they did. Because number one, they had really just started listening to this album recently for this episode.
Really?
So and like, oh, you know what's so juvenile? But I was a juvenile when this fucking album came out. Okay, so I was a fucking kid in school when this came out. So you didn't have 100 other bands that were copying off of bands like Wasp and Kiss and Motley Crue, because they were even copying off of each other back then. So I could see why they did a lot of shitting on this album, because it's new to them. And listening to this as an adult for the first time, it's totally different than listening to this when you're a fucking kid.
Yeah.
Like BC said, you're scraping together your paper route money to go buy these albums, and you live with these albums. But this was something different and exciting when they first put this album out. But like with these guys going and listening to it like now essentially in their 50s, it's a whole different story. If I sit down and listen to that album, through a 56-year-old man's eyes, of course it's fucking juvenile and fucking stupid. But when you're a kid and you have this, you put this album on, you look at that cover and you listen to the songs, school days, you don't want to be in fucking school. You wanted to be out rocking, you want to be out partying, I could see their point of view, how they didn't like it, but they were looking at it through eyes of listening to it now, getting into it now as adults. But having this as a kid, it's a whole different ball game, absolutely. And I still think it hits my turntable all the time. It's one that gives me good memories of rocking with Rob and my buddy Chris, and this is another one we played this shit out of. I Want to Be Somebody, Love Machine, and I do kind of get LOVE, like, but it's still fun to this day. It's when you go see these guys live, you love fucking singing that, you love fucking chanting that. And they're going to be playing this whole album on the tour coming up with Armored Saint. That's I think it may already be started or starting very soon. I think we're seeing them in November, actually. Hellion, Sleeping in the Fire, like the Chris Holmes guitar solo on that song just fucking rips it up. When he played it live, oh my god, just crazy. So this was a fun album, and I could see how they would shit on it listening to it like nowadays, but when you got this when you were a kid first listening to it, it was awesome, and it retains that awesomeness for me as an adult, because it takes me back to there and gets me out of thinking about fucking paying bills and all this other bullshit that goes on being an adult. So that's my piece about that. So check that. I mean, it was an entertaining episode, and I'm not sure Zeus was on me pretty good on it, but that's okay, buddy. I love you. And Scorpions, Love at First Sting. This was another album, like when Blackout came out, you're like, all right, great. But then when this came out, and this hit fucking big. Rock You Like a Hurricane was everywhere. Then they put out Big City Nights. Still Loving You was great. They recorded the Worldwide Live album from this tour. I got to see them on this tour. And Bon Jovi opened up for them on their first tour. And I saw them in Philadelphia. I always thought that this was a really, really good album. I always enjoyed it. I love Bad Boys Running Wild. How that album starts is just fantastic. And I love in Bad Boys Running Wild, you get the dun, dun, you get that stop, and then it goes back into it. I absolutely love that. The deep tracks, I'm Leaving You, Coming Home, the same thrill. Crossfire I can kind of live without. As soon as the good time roll, that's like the part of the album that kind of I don't care for too much, as long as the good times roll. Crossfire, they're okay, very, very close to a skipper for me, but it ends with Still Loving You. If you're going to end an album with a ballad, this is the way to do it for sure. So okay, I need a drink after that. What do you got, BC?
Queensrÿche, The Warning. I'm trying to think back. I mean, back in the day, I think Mindcrime, The Rage was the. Yeah, I'm fucking.
Rage for Order was
Rage
after.
for Order was after this, but I went back to this. I mean, that was probably my first delve into Queensrÿche, and I was like, back then, everybody's talking about the motor, like Smart Man's Metal or something they were saying, and I remember all the talk, like the older crowd is Queensrÿche, and of course we're kids, they laughed at us, but I went back to this in Warning, in Force, Take Hold of the Flame, like Steve said before. That is that's probably top 2 Queensrÿche songs for me. Child of Fire, Road to Madness. I mean, and to this very day, Queensrÿche is in my catalog of listening to. Metallica, Ride the Lightning. again, I remember everybody's talking, oh, this band Metallica, man, you gotta check these guys out. They're not like, and they weren't. They were like fucking raw in your face. I remember, and that's like, the first thing I ever got was this 12-inch record of Hit the Lights, or maybe Jump into Fire, Whiplash, and there was a 2-on-1 and one song.
But they were like no one else that was out there.
They were different. There was no fancy show, some lights, and they wore jeans and t-shirts. They were fresh. They were different.
They were anti-hair metal.
Anti-hair metal. They were out
before that was even a thing.
They were out in that time frame, but they were always not that.
Right.
And I mean, if I ride with light and Hoon Bill Stone, come on, Fade to Black. Creep of Death was always one of my favorite. Trapped Under Ice. I mean, again, you went to this band. It was great. I heard this new
like Tony the Tiger.
Great. Oh, Wasp. I mean, come on. When this first came out, of course, like I said, we were fucking like 14 years old. I was 14. So, of course, you were fucking in this shit. Because, again, this guy's doing this. He's fucking...
Throwing meat into the crowd.
Not
that I wanted to get hit with a fucking steak at a show. But,
he's wearing this. He's dead. And he saw pictures in magazines with them, like, half-naked women. You're like, yeah. Because you're fucking 14 years old. Like you said, your hormones are going crazy. Yeah, he's fucking... Look at the women. He's got... Yeah, fucking... You just wanted to fucking rock out. And this is just beginning to the end is just a great album. I don't think there's a skip around here. Sleeping in the Fire. I forgot what live album is it, from the Key Club or? I think which one is that when he does
Live in the Raw?
He does the extended solo.
I think
that
so.
was a later album.
Oh no, yeah. It's on the Key Club one.
Key Club one or whatever. I forget what's called right now, but
that or is it Double Live Assassins maybe?
I don't know. It was one of those two.
It's not live in the. It's not live in the Raw, but that's not the version though. There's a different version that's longer.
He extends the solo and just tears it up. I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah, like again, like Steve said, if you're looking at the songs now, you're like, oh, okay, yes, on your knees, ooh. But back then, you're 14 and you go hear these songs now, it brings you back to being young and listening to this music for the first time, and just that freedom it gave you. So that's an iconic album for me. There's number 4.
The Sting was that album, BC. The Sting.
Okay. It
was from the Key Club, but it was called The Sting.
I remember Greenish.
Yeah.
And I'm going to finish up with Scorpions, level 14. That's it. Fuck, Scorpions, again. I used to ride around with this diehard Scorpions guy. So I heard all the albums before this one, and this came out, and believe it or not, I don't think he was down with it at first because it was very
more polished,
more polished. I guess he would say. They're. I think he said they're selling out. I don't know. Whoa. And I remember that's what stood out about this album is he was not down with it at first. But I mean, this is another classic album from the Scorpions. Bad Boys Running Wild, Coming Home, Still Loving You. I mean, even the song is not really rocking it. That is a classic song. Big City Nights. Again, this is another classic 4 albums.
Yeah, these 4, 3 out of the 4 are definitely albums I went backwards because Queensryche with The Warning. I came into Queensryche at Operation Mindcrime, of course. So this was a back album for me. A great beginning album for these guys. Enforce, Deliverance are great songs. Definitely standouts on the album. Take a Hold of the Flame. It showcases Jeff's voice. Just so he goes from that soft part in the beginning, and then he just takes off with his iconic screaming. Love Queensryche. Haven't looked back ever since Operation Mindcrime. Metallica, Ride the Lightning. Another album I went back to. I came in the Black album, so this working backwards. But you listen to this, boy. Compared to all the other albums on this list, man, when you hear this, you're like, it's just in a different fucking universe. Like, this is just off the fucking charts crazy. Ride the Lightning, the title track is so good. For Whom the Bells Tolled, Fade to Black, great. My favorite is Trapped Under Ice. There's just fucking sick bananas in there. The guitar work in that is amazing. Creeping Death, another great one. Yeah, that's a really good album. Wasp, self-titled, and I didn't come into Wasp until Headless Children, so working back again, their first album. I Want to Be Somebody, great one, like you said, Steve Love. You love just singing that live. I one of my favorites on here is School Days, because when you hear it, you just. I was still in school when I heard it, so all talking about school, how it's almost like you're like a prison. You're a prisoner for 12 years. It's just one of those standout songs off the album. Another great one that really builds is Sleeping in the Fire. It goes from that soft vocal, and it takes off. On Your Knees, a great one. Another one, Terminator. It's like the screaming vocals on that one are just so iconic for Blackie. Chris Holmes' solo was killer on that one. And the Scorpions, Love at First Thing. This cassette I owned, so I'm not backtracking finally off of an album, but this is really good. I really took off with these guys just because Rock You Like a Hurricane was all over the place. The opening track, Bad Boys Running Wild, a great one. I'm Leaving You, so you got 1, 2, 3, great opening tracks. Another deep one I love is the Same Thrill, because it's so much faster than the rest of the songs on the album, and the solo in there is so good. Big City Nights, another big one, another standout, of course, and then close the album off with Still Loving You. And BC, I still love that song to this day. Yeah,
because you're sentimental.
That's right. No, that's a good group of four right there for sure.
But he's still loving me.
All right, we're into the top 5 now. He's always. His song for you is Always Loving You, BC. Always.
Yeah.
So we're going to do the top 5 now. So next 5 we got are Quiet Riot, Condition Critical. This one's actually from 1983. I'm not sure how this got by the goalie. It seems like one episode, something always slides in there from another year, but we're going to do it anyways. The Steelers self-titled album.
Who said that?
Black and Blue. Huh?
No, Steeler came out in 83.
Steeler came out in 83.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Choir.
No.
My bad.
Black and Blue self-titled, Rat Out of the Cellar, and Bon Jovi self-titled. So we got 3 self-titles in here. And actually, they're all debut albums with the exception of Quiet Riot. So, BB, you're going to go again.
Oh.
Tell us how you feel.
Oh, Quiet Riot. I don't know. Sometimes I love them. Sometimes I hate them. This album, between it was all right, and of course, I have highlighted the 2, bigger songs, Mama, We're All Crazy Now, and Party All Night. I don't know. It's an all right album. I love some of the other stuff that they put out. But this one was just all right for me. Steelers self-titled, you got Yngwie and you got Ron Keel. You got a great combination. This album is really, really good. There's some just killer, mind-blowing solos in all of these songs. Cold Day in Hell is a great opener. No Way Out, it's a great building song, another killer solo. Now, even though Hot on Your Heels, it has that 4-minute instrumental, I don't mind that. But then you got the Abduction song, which is an instrumental in the middle of the album.
It's Yngwie. Come on, he's setting the stage for the rest of his life.
But it's that 2.5 minutes of song on Hot on Your Heels is so good. But another one I absolutely love is On the Rocks. Born to Rock, another good one. But then that Serenade, that slow closer is like, oh, like it grips you, and then it kind of lets you go a little bit. Black and Blue self-titled. This was an album this is another one. These top 5 ones are tough for me. This was another love-hate relationship with Black and Blue. Of course, you have your big song, Hold On to 18. I love the closer, Chains Around Heaven, but it just you have to pick some stuff on here, and some of this stuff is so good, and some of this, maybe it's because I'm not so much familiar with it. I know the album. I actually have it on vinyl, It's just one that I just don't really go to. Rat Out of the Cellar, fantastic album. This one, another staple of 1984. Us Carbondale kids running around. This was in everybody's Walkman for sure. Wanted Man, Round and Round, the big one. I always loved She Wants Money. I thought that was always underrated. Lack of Communication, Back for More, another great 1-2 punch. And The Morning After, another great one. And I'm Insane. It's no skippers on Out of the Cellar. And then Bon Jovi, self-titled. I know Zeus is all over this one. He loves this one, but man, another one. I'm not a big Bon Jovi guy, I guess. It's just, of course you got Runaway, She Don't Know Me, another good one, but it's just doesn't tickle my fancy. There's some woes in there for Wright and Breakout, but yeah, the way you have these 5 boxed up,
it was the luck of the draw. It was the luck of the draw.
For me,
I swear to God.
It was. If you're gonna put those 5 together, you take out Rat and Steeler. There's a tough 5 listen for me.
All right, BC, please bring us back to fucking reality.
I'm a little dizzy right now.
I wanted to get the negativity.
You do it.
All right, bad news. Now good news.
I'll be the bad cop. You be the good cop.
All right. I mean, we're gonna start off with Quiet Riot, Condition Critical. I remember this coming out. Quiet Riot, the biggest band, number 1 album. I think. I mean, I'm not bashing. I just think this album was rushed. The record company's like, put it out, keep it going. You know what I mean? I mean, you read that nowadays. Even the band, I don't think they even said it was get in there, get it out. And I think you can hear it on certain ones. And of course, you got the party all night. Of course, when you're 14, you love that. Mama, we're all crazy now. And I told my mother the other night I'm all crazy. So, but Bad Boy, Red Alert, overall good album, but they did take it up to the next level. I think from Mental Health. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. All right, that's enough for the downers. 2 Steeler. I mean, this is a band that it was very late coming to. I mean, I've heard of. I kept seeing the album and hearing people, and I just never. I was late to the game on this one. But Cold Day in Hell, love that song. No Way Out. I don't know. I can't read my notes. Born Around. I mean, anyways, this is a good, solid. I mean, nothing mind blowing, but good, solid rock. Yeah, of course, you have Ian Beyond before he got crazy. Ron Keel got him. I mean, Cold Day in Hell. I mean, Ron Keel did I'm trying to think of the Keel album. Remember, it wasn't really Keel. It was Ron Keel, maybe the drummer. They did that album. It was live tunes and then 4 studio tracks. It was after.
It was Keel Live, right?
Was it Keel
I
Live?
think it was Keel Live. Yeah,
I
think so.
No, Keel. It was after that.
Just the Keel was the full album, I think.
That was the last whole band album. But this is a good listen. It really is. Can't help but go to it. And I have these out of order. What happened? Black and Blue. I don't know, maybe I don't know. He's not familiar with it. It's gotta be. You didn't hear it back in the day. I don't know, but I mean, again, just like some other albums we mentioned before, I played the crap out of this one back in '84 when this came out. Toronto Rock, School of Hard Knocks, Auto Blast, the drums and that's just phenomenal. Hold On 18 was their hit. Wicked Bitch, how can you go around a song called that? I'm the King, Chains Around Heaven, One for the Money, Show Me. I mean, there's not a skip around this album. And a lot of these songs, they still play this very day. So, I mean, hey, that's got to tell you something. Rat Out of the Cellar. Psh. I mean, even back in the day, I listened to shit out of this, but today, I listen to shit out of this. I think I like it more today than I did when I was 14. And I look back and the other albums, and this is such an underrated album for the time. It doesn't. I mean, doesn't get the respect. Bon Jovi self-titled with the. I remember this came out. We're in back of Rick Mahawk's car. Again, we're all packed in there, fucking blaring the music, riding around town, fucking, just playing this album over and over. I'm trying to think. Let me look at the set list real quick. There's not. To me, there's not a skipper on this one. I don't think. It's just take you back to 1984. I don't know if he's listening to it now and just like, if you can, I can't say re-record it now because
no,
we don't want Bon Jovi doing that.
We don't want to hear them.
No, he'll fuck it up nowadays. But unlike some bands that re-record albums that are like, ooh, like Quiet Riot did that one time. But again, these top 5, 4 are totally killer albums, and one is a good, decent album.
All right. Yeah, for me, Quiet Riot, Condition Critical, I love this album. I think it's fantastic. And when I saw Quiet Riot on the Metal Health Tour, they were headlining theaters. I saw them with Kicks. They were playing songs from this album at that show. They played Stomp Your Hands, Clap Your Feet. They played Scream and Shout. And I want to say they played Red Alert.
They did.
And I liked it. Sign of the Times is great. I'm sick of the Slade shit, mama. We're all crazy now. I can see why they did it because they got such a boost from the other one. I don't think this one did quite as well.
No.
But Party All Night, Stomp Your Hands, Clap Your Feet. Winner Takes All. I could do without that one. The title track's heavy for them, very heavy. But the rest is just it's a fun metal album. I think that. I mean, come on. Metal Health is tough to follow.
Yeah.
It is. And I don't...
Maybe that's a fact.
I do think it was a little rushed because they were so big they just wanted to keep them going.
Keep it going.
But they were another band that they just kind of went out with a thud. They came out with Quiet Riot 3 and it was like... I don't even think for Condition Critical, I don't even think they played around here. I don't remember seeing that or hearing about them playing around here at all for that. Yeah. And then, boom, they're playing an amusement park for Quiet Riot 3. So, they just kind of like Twisted Sister, they just kind of went out with a thud, not a fucking bang.
The flare was hot and burned up.
Steeler, I got this when it first came out. I must have read something in a magazine or something like that. I had no idea who the fucking Yngwie Malmsteen was. First recording thing for Ron Keel and Yngwie. And if you listen to, I want to say it's, I don't know, is it Abduction? That's from the Metal Shop.
Yeah.
That was one of the music things that they played on that Metal Shop. So that's probably where I heard that from first and then picked up the album. Because that was right around that time that Metal Shop was big. Cold Day in Hell, No Way Out, Hot on Your Heels, Born to Rock, Down to the Wire. Just a good... And I agree with BB. Serenade. If you're going to end an album with a ballad, do it with Still Loving You instead of Serenade. But he did that when he played acoustic at Rockin' Pod. He did Serenade, remember? So, good one. Black and Blue. Self-titled. I had this one. This one came out because it was just a band that they would. I think they pushed these guys pretty hard at the beginning. They were on the Kiss Animalize tour, where that's where Fates came together. That's where Gene met Tommy Thayer. So and here we are, 2024, and he was in Gene's band for over fucking 20 years. But the album itself, I think it's fantastic. And I got to get another copy of this album. Mine is fucking so crackly. It's crazy. I played it so many times. Strong Will Rock, School of Hard Knocks. Auto Blast is great. Wicked Bitch. I love Show Me the Night. Show Me the Night. Fucking fantastic song. I'm the King. Chains Around Heaven. Just a great debut album. I always enjoyed that album. It hits my turntable, crackly or not, many, many times a year. Rat Out of the Cellar. We saw these guys on tour for this tour down in Allentown with Twisted Sister. Was supposed to be leading for it too, but her bus broke down, so we didn't get to see her. But they were great in this album, and I'm kind of leaning towards BC. Like I think I appreciate this album more now than I did back in the day. Like I just absolutely love like Lack of Communication, She Wants Money, I'm Insane. The only one that I'm not crazy about, it's not a skipper, I don't hate it, is Scene of the Crime. Kind of, it's okay, but the rest of the album is just fucking fantastic. And for as much as you hear Round and Round, you have to listen to that song to get to the solo. You fucking have to. It's crazy good.
It's one of those ones you hear a million times, but
it's still awesome every time you hear it. Yeah. Wanted Man. Oh, I love that. I get shivers down my spine when I hear that intro to that song. It's just absolutely fucking killer. And Bon Jovi self-titled, I got to see, like I said before, I got to see these guys on this tour. They opened for Scorpions. And I like this album. I listen to the shit out of this one too. Runaway, one that comes on, it's not, you don't hear it as much as like Bad Medicine and You Give Love a Bad Name, but you still hear it quite a bit. I don't ever turn it off when it comes on. But like the deep tracks, like Roulette is fucking great. She Don't Know Me, which I didn't know that was a cover tune.
Me neither.
Shot Through the Heart is great. Even Love Lies for a ballad is really good. I absolutely love Breakout. And it's just, I think it's a solid debut album, and it's definitely set the stage for what these guys were going to do. This was one album that you heard that, like, this band's got something. This band's got something. You don't have to raise your hand, BC. You can just talk.
I don't want to jump up. Talk about these top two albums. I mean, you didn't see them in Rocky Glen?
I missed them.
I saw the show Rat open up for
and Bon Jovi, right?
Rat opened up for Bon Jovi.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't miss that
one. It
one.
was both their first albums. I was like,
that's crazy.
Yeah. I did miss that one. I knew they played there. I don't know why I missed it, but I did miss that one.
I mean,
God damn it!
You're chasing women.
I tell people,
I had a girlfriend. I don't know what the fuck happened.
And I tell people that Rat opened up. Rat opened up. I said, yeah, Rat opened up.
It's like Metallica opened up for the Rods. All right, so there's our 25 albums from 1984. So more of a wheelhouse list for us guys. Well, for most of us. And so we'll go around. Pick your top 3 albums, your top 3 songs if you can, and your bottom 3 albums if you can. And then we'll do your final thoughts with it, and we'll get the hell out of here. What do you got, BB?
All right, I'll do my bottom 3 first.
Get ready, BB.
Hey, you have to pick 3, right? So number 3 would be self-titled Black and Blue. You have to pick 3.
You don't have to.
Yes, you do. I
said you don't. I said if you can.
Oh, I'm gonna get murdered.
Tonight.
Number
just delete that.
Yeah. Number 2 is going to be Quiet Riot, Condition Critical, and then the one that I don't get at all is Rush, Grace Under Pressure. My top 3 albums. I'll go Rat Out of the Cellar for number 3, Great White Self-Titled for 2, and Kick-Axe Vices for number 1. And then, of course, when I pick my top 3 songs, they're going to be super deep tracks. Number 3 is going to be School Days off Wasps' Self-Titled. Number 2 is going to be Deep End off of Autograph Sign and Please. And number 1 off Metallica's Ride the Lightning, Trapped Under Ice.
Wow.
Yeah. No. This is really cool. This is a great list. Like I said before, pretty much a lot of foundation albums that kind of started me to where I am today. It brought back a lot of great memories. Some of these, I wish I still had some of these cassettes. I actually still have. I think I still have one of the actual vinyls that was given to me for Christmas one year. So this was a great list. Like I said, a lot of memories, some good stuff, and some not so Good stuff.
BC.
I fucked up. All right. Anyways, I'm gonna go with top 3 albums, which is impossible to do. Just putting it out there now. Number 3, I'm gonna throw Black and Blue self-titled. 2 would be Kick-Axe Vices, and number 1, Rat Out of Cellar. As far as favorite songs on here, again, 3 would be probably Triumph, Follow Your Heart. 2, Autograph. My girlfriend's boyfriend isn't me. Just love the the back and forth at the end. And of course, Queen's Wright, Take Hold of the Flame. I did crappy songs, not albums.
That's okay. That's all right.
There's no crappy albums.
That's all right.
I'm changing the rules.
I wrote down 2, but they're not crappy. I mean, I know something's got to pick the bottom, but
Something's got to. But anyways, these are in no order. I struggle to get these. Weakest songs out of this whole list, I would say maybe Quite Right, Winner Takes Off. Triumph, Time Cannon. I mean, for some reason it wasn't hit me. And Serenade by Steeler. It's funny you mentioned that. I was like, wait a minute. That's it. And you want me to? Yeah. These albums are iconic. It was just a great time. I think so much good music came out between 83 and 87. It was very, and then it just got crazy and
blew up.
The car blew up.
Yeah. BB, if you want to do three bad songs, if you think of what I'm talking, go ahead.
All right. Well,
okay.
We'll see.
Because I'm gonna do 3 songs too, because there's nothing that I hated here.
All
right. Yeah. So for my top 3 songs, I'm going opposite of BB. I'm going. My number 3 is Nobody's Home from Deep Purple. I love that. Nobody. Just how that song has that driving thing. I've said it before. Big City Nights from Scorpions. I just, you know what? It's a hit, but I just absolutely fucking love that song. And I said it before. Turn up the radio from Autograph. I could hear that on a loop for a day, and it would not bother me. I absolutely love it. My top albums, I got number 3, Power Slave from Maiden. Number 2, Autograph, Sign In Please. And I have, which I'm surprised BB did not have it there, 1984 from Van Halen.
Yeah. Well, I picked 84 and I picked Dio last episode, so I kind of didn't want to.
Kind of rolled them over.
I didn't want to. Yeah, right. I didn't want to. Oh, he said that last episode.
Yeah. And, but I'll do bottom 3 songs because there's no albums I don't like here.
No.
I agree with BC. I think Serenade is not good. I don't know. Let me see what else here we got here. I don't like Mystery on Dio on Last Nine. I'm not a fan of that one. And I'll say also Lonely is the Hunter from Animalize. That's like the one song on there I'm like, But always cool talking about this. I wanted to do this just so we could have like a nice, easy conversation where we didn't have to, write down a review for an album or whatever like that. Songs, albums we've listened to 1,000 times. I got this. I spun a lot of fucking vinyl this week, and I literally spun all these albums on vinyl between Saturday night and all day yesterday. Watching, I had the TV muted, watching football and 2 different games on 2 different TVs, going back and forth and spinning all these albums during the day, and it was cool doing it. And I still don't know where the fuck that Lita Ford album is, though. I gotta find that. It pisses me off. I know. I just picked it up like last year too. I thought I had it, but I didn't. So I gotta find that album. But I love talking about these, and it was a nice quick conversation. It's not there. I'm telling you, it's not in that. That's where I have Rush, Ozzy, Priest, Night Ranger, Queensryche, Metallica on that whole shelf there. But no Lita Ford there. So BB, did you come up with anything?
All right, I'm gonna go. Did you say Time Cannon?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's really the only
one.
Is
that instrumental thing?
No, it sounds it sounds like a church hymn.
It's very.
It's really weird.
Just doesn't catch me.
I'll just pick one off the Rush album because after a distant early warning, they all suck. So I'll pick Kid Gloves because that just sounds stupid.
Okay. Mark Anthony K is going to track you down and kill you.
And I don't know. You put me on the spot, so I'm not sure.
No, I know. Okay. I just wanted to throw that there since BC did that and I did it too. So,
I went by the rules. You guys fucked it up.
I know.
Don't you listen to Steve? I listen to you, buddy. Everybody else.
I'm glad someone does for a change.
Yeah,
I must have read it wrong.
And speaking of Mark Anthony K, he has the new Project Gemini albums just like ready to go. I think he said Halloween. He's going to announce it when it's coming out. I think he said it's coming out on Halloween. I want to say. Don't quote me on that. Check him out on YouTube. The Project Gemini updates that he does all the time. So check them out. I can't wait to hear his new album that he has done. He snuck that one in on us. Like there was no, it was done. He did mention it when we did the episode with him, but always.
Did he already had it done?
Yeah, always good listening to that stuff. I love it. So guys, check out some albums 1984. If there's an album that you thought we missed that we should have really talked about from 1984 in our wheelhouse, let us know. But everybody, thanks for listening. Get out there, listen to some good stuff. And BC, great job. BB, great job.
Subpar.
Even though we're gonna see if we can open that rehab up again, maybe we'll send you in for like an oil change.
I really honestly think that you guys should pick the bottom 3 albums. I really think you should. You shouldn't just pick out.
All right, okay, I'll go. I'll say Steeler because of the crazy instrumental shit that Yngwie does. Okay. I will say Y&T because I think that there's the most skippers on there for me. And let me give you one more. Okay. I will give you.
I'll give you a hint. They're from Canada.
Whoa!
There are only 3 guys, and it's not Triumph.
I'm gonna say Quiet Right, Condition Critical because it does not totally live up to
what you thought it would be.
Mental Health.
How could you?
See, BB, I'll throw you a bone there, buddy. I need a beer after that.
Woo! I can't see.
Oh, I mean, again, Condition Critical is good, but not like going uphill like the next.
Hey, at least we all agreed on a shitty album.
I didn't say it was shitty.
It was bottom.
Least favorite.
Oh my god, this is very hard. Okay, it's Condition Critical, Quiet Riot. I'm gonna go maybe just because they're not the most familiar with Rush. Not saying sex because
CBC, we're already there. We're 2 for 2 already. Here we go.
And then
I'll give you my. Don't
be picking on the Canadians.
Stop that. Hold on, guess that. Where'd it go? I'm probably gonna go Crocus because of the polishness. After the albums before that, and then I came up. Not saying it's bad, just wasn't what I expected.
But you know what's funny? Out of all these albums, every time I go to a record store, go to a flea market, go to the Blitz is fucking everywhere. Like
really?
Yes,
everywhere.
I don't know if I've ever seen it out.
Get the fuck out!
Come on, it up.
You don't go vinyl shopping. It is everywhere.
You do your vinyl shopping on the computer, on the phone.
You Google your
next time I'm out. I'm gonna start taking pictures.
Boop, yeah, I want pictures. I want photographic proof of this shit.
We will. Oh, no,
there's probably one down Gallery on right now. I guarantee it.
Oh, there is.
No way. No fucking way.
What time is it? Call Rob. Hey.
Rob, get out. They're closed. Are they? Maybe not. I don't know.
Hey, quick question.
Got any crocus? All right. Yeah, so this was fun. It was fun. I love that. I love the back and forth with Paul Buster. BB had we were holding knives on BB for the episode, so he held one on us at the end there. So, but
BC picked 2 of mine. So there we go.
So you know what? I'll do this for next year too. We'll do it for next year. Maybe not the cassettes thing, but we'll do the albums, and we'll have Rob come back on, and we'll do 1985. 85. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll revisit this with the next year, but it was fun. So, guys out there. Once again, thanks for listening. If you're a new listener, welcome. If you're an older, I don't know. I don't like saying old listener because that kind of makes you feel old. Like if you're an alumni listener, then welcome back. And tell your friends about us. Shoot us an email. Shoot us a message on Facebook or whatever. Just say hello. You guys out there, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. We will see you next time, and there definitely will be a next time.